This video is to teach you about what to do if your firearms are damaged by flood or other water damage. The purpose here is to try and teach you how to quickly take steps that will prevent further damage of the firearm. Hi, I'm Gene Kelly, President of the American Gunsmithing Institute and the Gun Club of America. And I'm going to walk you through a three-step process. The first step is what I call triage. This is what you're going to do immediately to stop further damage to the guns from the water. The second step will be about deep cleaning. And the third step is restoration. And we're going to hit those last two lightly. But right now, we want you to understand what you need to do to stop the damage. So, if your guns were flooded, the first thing to do is make sure that you don't risk your own safety in getting to your guns. Make sure the area is safe and secure, and there isn't electrical wiring or so on. Next, assume every gun is loaded because you may be helping out a friend and you may not know. Every gun is always loaded. Clear the firearms. So, if they're in bags, cases, take them out of the cases. Set the cases aside, and in fact, in most of the time, we're going to be discarding those cases because it's almost impossible to get out all the silt, the moisture, any chemicals that might have been in the water, and so on. Cases are cheap. Damaged firearms are expensive. So we remove the cases. Then we're going to take a couple of steps to, again, stop the damage. The first thing I want you to do is remove the wood from the stock, from the actions. Remove the wood. And when you do remove the wood, try to make sure that you have good fitting tools so you don't damage and booger up the screws. Next, remove all the other pieces that are attached to the wood. So your recoil pad, your sling swivels, anything else that might be attached to the wood, because most of the time moisture is drawn up through the raw areas like under the pad, and water is insidious. It will go everywhere. Every nook and cranny you're going to need to deal with. So take the wood off and wipe it all down, get it as dry as you can. The best way to dry the wood out is to let it air dry. Other options are to pack it inside a bag with instant rice and allow that or some other desiccant product to absorb the moisture. But air drying is just fine. You want to dry wood slowly, not quickly. Don't get it next to a lot of heat. It'll warp. Let it dry. Another thing you want to do in the triage process is evaluate the collection of firearms and work on the most expensive guns first, because most expensive guns are going to have a lot of fine-fitted wood, and that's where you're going to have damage. If you've got a 10-22, it's a common firearm, it's a great gun, but it's not a real expensive gun, you've got a lot of options later to repair that firearm. If you have a very fine double gun, you need to get working on that right away. So you're going to want to carefully remove the wood wherever you can, remove any metal from the wood, any recoil pads, etc. Let it dry. Now we're going to get to the metal itself. With the metal, you're going to take the action and you're going to want to get into every nook and cranny you can with an oil displacement of some sort. It can be something like WD-40, which will push out the water and displaces water, but it's not a great preservative, not a great lubricant, but it's a start and it's common. If you have better gun oils, use them. One of the ones I use a lot is Break Free. There's a couple of others that I really recommend. One is a corrosion resistant product called Corrosion X. You can find it online. I've used that product. It's a great product. Recommended by a lot of other gunsmiths. Another one is Ballistol. And Ballistol is safe to use on the wood, on leather, and the firearms. Great product, really good product. So you're going to want to just basically field strip it, no more at this stage because it's triage. We want to displace the water however we can with oil and also using either compressed air from a air hose and air compressor or compressed air in a can. Take particular note to getting the water out of places such as your extractor holes. So that water, again, goes everywhere. So you're going to have to make sure that you get the water displaced from the the hole where the spring and the extractor are, any other deep holes in the gun, using a combination of a displacement oil and air to blow it out. When you get it all done, you're going to also make sure that you swab the bore with some light cleaner. This is not a time to scrub it heavily. All we're trying to do is a quick triage to prevent further damage. After that, and you've gotten that complete, later you'll have time in a non-crisis moment to be able to totally detail strip the gun. And my experience after having gone through several floods is that it's got silt and junk everywhere. So you've got to get into every little piece of the gun. Totally clean it. And then your final stage after you detail clean, and I mean stripping down to the last part, not just field stripping. Detail clean, use a cleaner such as Simple Clean that you can use with water and a brush. And then after you're done cleaning the parts, you can wipe them dry, or you can put them in an oven at a low temperature, like 150 degrees or less, to slowly dry them out. And then you make sure that you wipe all the parts down, covering every part of it with a good penetrating oil of some sort of gun oil. Again, Ballistol, CLP, Break Free, Corrosion X, anything good like that. Then you can reassemble the firearm and deal with any of the issues of stock. Frankly, stock damage, if you get on to everything else, that's going to be one of your biggest issues, because the water gets up into the grain and it can discolor it and so on. And you may have to go about refinishing the stock. Restoration is the third stage. Restoration can either be done by yourself, and there's courses available to teach you how to do that, or you can take it to a professional gunsmith. Now, one of the things I didn't say is that when you first get to the guns, make sure you take digital photos, because that'll give you evidence about the condition of the firearms, and your insurance company may pay for the restoration, or there may be a way that you can deduct something from taxes as a loss. Once you have the guns first triage so they're not going to be damaged further, then you've moved into the second phase, which is the cleaning. Then the final phase, like we said, is the restoration. I hope that this has been helpful. I'm sorry that you've had this problem happen to you. I can certainly sympathize. It's happened to me. And you can find out more, and we'll update on our blog at Gunsmiths, at gunsandgunsmiths.com or americangunsmith.com. Once again, that blog is Guns and Gunsmiths, and if you're looking for information on how to do all this, go to americangunsmith.com. Hope this has been helpful.